It started with a sound, not yelling, not a fight, just the soft tap of a phone lighting up on the nightstand at 9:42 p.m. I remember the exact time because I checked it twice, like somehow the second look would change what I was seeing. My wife, Laura, was in the shower. The house was quiet, too quiet, that kind of silence where every small noise feels amplified. We'd been married 27 years, 2 daughters, a house we spent decades paying off, a life that felt finished in a good way, stable, predictable, safe. That's why I didn't think twice when I picked up her phone. I thought it was one of our girls texting about dinner plans. They had this weekly girls' night thing, something I actually encouraged. I liked that they were close. I liked that our family felt connected. But the message on the screen wasn't from either of them. Unknown number. Just one line. I can't wait to see you tonight. Followed by a heart. I didn't feel shock right away. Just stillness. Like my body paused before my brain caught up. I opened the message. Short thread. Casual. Familiar. Plans confirmed. Time set. A small joke about how once a week isn't enough anymore. That's when something cold moved through me. Not anger. Not yet. Recognition. Because deep down, I already understood what I was looking at. 27 years doesn't prepare you for that moment. Nothing does. And still part of me wanted to be wrong. Needed to be wrong. So I did something simple. Something that, at the time, felt like it would bring clarity. I texted both my daughters. Asked about their dinner. Just a normal question. Something harmless. I was hoping, honestly hoping, they'd say, yeah, we're meeting mom at 10. That this would all collapse into something explainable, something innocent. But what came back didn't fix anything. It made it worse. Both of them replied within minutes. Same energy, same tone. Yeah, we're excited. It's been forever since we all went out together. I read the messages twice, then again, looking for something. Hesitation, inconsistency. Anything that would tell me this wasn't coordinated. But it was clean. Too clean. That's when the second realization hit. Slower this time. Heavier. They weren't just unaware. They were involved. I wish I could say I handled it well. I didn't. I didn't confront her right away. I didn't ask questions. Instead, I did something quiet, calculated. I turned on location sharing on her phone and waited. She came out of the shower, got dressed, acted normal, kissed me on the cheek before leaving, said, "Don't stay up too late." Same tone she'd used for years. Same routine. And I stood there watching it happen, already knowing it wasn't real. I followed her. I don't remember the drive clearly. Just flashes, red lights, my hands gripping the steering wheel too tight, my heart beating in a way that didn't feel natural. When she pulled into the restaurant parking lot, I parked across the street. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. No daughters. Just her. And a man I recognized instantly. Her boss. I watched them greet each other like it wasn't new. Like this had been happening long enough to feel normal. They didn't look around. Didn't hesitate. He kissed her. Not quickly. Not secretly. Comfortably. That's when something inside me broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just a quiet snap. Where hope used to be. I took pictures. I don't even remember deciding to. It just happened. Proof. Evidence. Something to hold on to because everything else was slipping. And then I did something I can't take back. I opened our family group chat and sent every photo. Hope you're all enjoying dinner together. That's all I wrote. No accusations. No explanation. Just that one sentence. Then I turned my phone off. Completely. I didn't want to hear it. Didn't want to read excuses, or apologies, or whatever version of the truth they decided to send me. I drove straight to my brother's house. Didn't call ahead, just showed up. He opened the door, looked at me for maybe 2 seconds, and stepped aside without asking a single question. That night is a blur. I don't think I slept. My mind kept replaying everything, not just what I saw, but what I missed. The signs, the late nights, the subtle shifts in her behavior, the way my daughters never looked surprised when she mentioned going out. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. 47 messages, 21 missed calls. I didn't listen to the voicemails. I didn't need to. I already knew the script. Regret, confusion, blame, maybe even tears. Instead, I focused on something else. Control. The one thing I still had. I contacted lawyers. Multiple. Sat in offices all day, telling the same story over and over until it stopped sounding like my life. and started sounding like a case file. Long-term marriage, infidelity, financial entanglement. Words that stripped everything down to facts. Clean, clinical, easier to process than emotion. By the time I finished, I had a plan. Not closure, not peace, just direction. That night, I finally read the messages. My younger daughter, Emily, had sent dozens. Apologies, panic, guilt spilling out in every line. My older daughter, Rachel, was different. Calm, defensive, saying it was a mistake, that I shouldn't destroy a family over one bad decision. That's when I realized something else. This wasn't just betrayal, it was division, and I was standing alone on one side of it. The divorce didn't happen quickly. Nothing like this ever does. There were delays, legal steps, mandatory separation periods, time that stretched everything out, forcing me to sit with it longer than I wanted. I moved into a one-bedroom apartment across town. Smaller, quieter, empty in a way that didn't feel temporary. Emily came to see me first. Showed up unannounced. Didn't leave. Not dramatically. Just sat there, day after day, waiting until I was ready to talk. When I finally did, she told me everything. How she found out. How her mother had slipped up after drinking. How Rachel already knew. How they both agreed to keep it quiet until the right time. Except there was never going to be a right time. That was the truth. I remember yelling. Not at Emily, but at the situation, at the betrayal, at the realization that this wasn't just something done to me. It was something managed around me. Controlled, hidden, structured. Like I was the last person who needed to know. That hurt more than anything else. Rachel and I never recovered. After everything came out, her fiancé contacted me, confused, suspicious. I told him the truth, not out of revenge, but because I couldn't lie anymore. Their relationship ended shortly after. She blamed me, said I destroyed her life, blocked me, and just like that, I lost more than a marriage. I lost part of my family. It's been almost a year now. The divorce is still finalizing. Laura is still with him, her former boss, publicly, openly, like none of it was ever hidden. Sometimes I think about how easily she transitioned into that life. No hesitation, no visible regret, just forward. I'd like to say I've moved on too, that things are better, but the truth is more complicated. Some days feel normal, others don't. Loneliness shows up in ways you don't expect, not just in silence, but in moments where you realize the people you trusted most are no longer part of your life. Emily and I are rebuilding something, slowly, carefully. There's still love there, but also something fragile underneath it. Rachel, I don't know if I'll ever speak to her again. And maybe that's the part no one talks about. Betrayal doesn't just end relationships, it reshapes them permanently. I went on a date recently. First one in decades. It felt strange, unnatural, like trying to remember a version of myself that no longer exists. Maybe that changes with time. Maybe it doesn't. But one thing I do know, some things don't break in the moment you discover them. They break long before that. Quietly, gradually, until one day, all it takes is a single message on a phone to finally see the truth.